Smash it.
That is a crossover for the ages right there. That's what I want. Hi, everybody. We're talking about the crossovers between the A-Team and Super Mario Brothers. You know, just normal things for a Friday afternoon.
Dun 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 dun.
Da, 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 da.
This is how my brain works. I make no apologies. It's just what it do.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm here for it. Anyway,
Good,
hi.
because you're stuck with me for like the next 2 some odd hours.
I am not stuck. I am here willingly because you are awesome.
Fantastic. Hi, everyone. It's Friday. It's time for another Paint and Slay. I am Vee. Above me is Lauren. And in front of you right here, we have some minis that we're going to keep painting. We started the gas spores last week, and we're going to keep going with them today. And if we finish these up a little bit early, we're then going to be moving over to the Cyclops, who I realized this morning taking the social media pictures that he's quite a dramatic fellow. Right?
Pretty much. I love it.
Oh, and thank you, Bellswin, for those donations. Very much appreciate that. But we do have a lot happening with the game today.
Yes.
So, Lauren, what would you like to talk about first? Give me a topic and I'll give you an image.
Let's start with the most recent thing that just got announced about the charity familiar. Yeah, there they are. Jack the Pumpkin Sprout. So this is our next charity familiar, raising money for Take This, as you can see, created by the wonderful Mark Meir. This will be a familiar that will be available starting Monday at noon. Monday, 3, 4, 5, 6. Monday, May 6th.
The 6th.
And yeah, the first week of Jack's sales, the net proceeds will all go to Take This. So if you want to get an adorable familiar, and then be 6 months early for Halloween and help a really good cause, then Monday after noon Pacific is when Jack will be live.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check that out. I know Mark already tweeted about it. Yes. I think Idle Champions has tweeted about it. There's a blog up that you can read all about Jack, and yeah, they're adorable. So
absolutely
mark your calendars.
Haha, I see what you did there.
I know, right? It's that's the one smooth transition I'm gonna have there.
Perfection. Done. Okay, what's your next pick?
Well, let's talk about the Great Modron March. I think that would be the next good. Yeah, there we go. So Great Modron March started on Wednesday at noon Pacific with the reintroduction to Grama, who got a little bit of a makeover, and our new champion, Diana, who joins Presto in the Saturday morning squad. And a lot of people have been enjoying, not only is she awesome, but she makes certain parts of the game go faster, especially like the transitions. Mm-hmm. And people have been having fun with that because it's amazing. That, and also she throws her staff and it bounces around the screen and it's so much fun to watch. So if you haven't had a chance, go ahead and log in and start unlocking all of the fun stuff for Diana and Grama, and then that'll be going on for a couple of weeks, and you'll be opening up also some flex spots where you can get there's a whole bunch of champions who are going to be available. I know Nixie and Vandra from All for One will be flex champions. Jahira, I think, is a flex champion. There's a bunch. You'll see them. They're awesome.
Check out the blog on that as well is very helpful in that respect.
Yep. Blogs are up. And then it's weekend buffs.
Yes.
Which is very appropriate considering the champion that just came to the game. It's the We'll Be Right Back weekend. Okay. So real talk for those of you who don't know what the heck is going on top of the TV. That is an old what's going on top of that chest is an old school CRT TV. Those two things sticking out are called rabbit ears. Listen, I'm being honest. There's people who are
explaining this. I didn't even think to explain this.
Right. I mean, I remember having to explain what rotary phones were to certain people when Presto came out. Yeah. So, if you are not like me and that's what TVs used to look like, and the rabbit ears are basically antenna because it would be broadcast over the radio waves.
And when you were like the kid watching TV, boy howdy, did you have to be the one to go up there and hold the thing in place while they were watching the news?
Yep. Yeah. Adjusting them like that. Mm-hmm. And then the static that you're seeing on the chest is literally if things went wrong, what you would see would just be black and white static.
Mm-hmm.
And then the little color swatches on the TV is if the channel
They
was
had
live but they were
sounds.
broadcasting nothing.
They had sounds too. If you had the staticky black and white, it was and if you had the colors, it was boop.
Okay, so Zoom let the boo through, but didn't let the
Oh,
other, which I kind of figured might happen.
well, maybe they
Uh,
got the actual boop
they might
sound
have. They
because
might
I'm
have.
not I'm not piping through Zoom for my audio.
That that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yes, there you go. So if you are my age or older or maybe a little bit younger, you know what we're talking about. But also I don't blame people who are like 15, 20 years younger than me for not knowing what the heck any of that is or rotary phone. So there, that is your weird history lesson for today. Also, if you haven't signed up for a newsletter, that's what this is
Oh yeah, that's
the
what this is.
will be right I know, right? The We'll Be Right Back weekend is the weekend buffs that are going on this weekend. All these champions are getting buffs to help you with all of your goals. And then if you've signed up for the newsletter, you will be getting a newsletter in the next couple of hours with a free gold commercial chest, which is why it's called the We'll Be Right Back weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And if you now have a song stuck in your head about after these messages, we'll be right back. I know what you've got, and I appreciate you. So I think that's everything.
That's everything.
Uh,
Yeah. I
Also, I'll
these
say
questions.
this: I am your moderator for today. I'm also on screen. So if you do have questions, please still go ahead and put question in big capital letters
Yeah.
before your question because it'll help stand out in the chat, and I'll know that what you're asking is something like official. But yeah, it me. So hi. So if you see me doing a lot more of this and not a lot of this as much, that's
You're
what's
getting a
going on.
net. You're like getting like the full like neck warm ups that they would do for like.
Yeah,
Never mind.
I
I'm not gonna
know.
finish that.
Well, no, and I redid my whole setup over the
Yeah.
weekend, so now I actually have screens on both sides so that I can.
Oh,
Yeah, because this screen
fancy. It's a story.
it's a long
It's a
story.
thing.
But now I actually have reasons to look at in this direction too. So hopefully, my neck won't be as upset with looking at this direction the whole day. Uh, the days with no TV remote says the real
Right.
towel. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Which of the siblings was going to go up and actually manually change the channel was a big deal.
Oh God, at my grandmother's house, the house rule was the youngest one had to do it, which would mean it would always change. Okay, because when you have Italian family, the youngest
Mm-hmm.
varied every so often depending on which 10 grandkids were in the house at once.
Who's hanging out? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Uh,
All right, cool. So we're gonna get jumping back into working on our gas spores. We got these started last week. Again, these are from the D&D Dolzer's Marvelous Miniatures line from WizKids. They come primed ahead of time. They also come together in a packet. You don't have to buy these individually. They come as a pair. They're essentially the same miniature, just FYI, sculpt wise, but you get two of them. So we're gonna
mhm.
keep working on these. Let's see. You gonna behave, camera? Because they're just so darn creepy. They're such unnerving
It's
little.
it's fun looking at your two different cameras
Because I'm
because
like,
the one makes a lot of sense and then it's
I
just
like how
you
this makes it
doing
look like my
this.
eyeballs.
It's just that.
Okay, so we got a pretty good start on this. We got the base colors on. We did some dry brushing. We did a little bit of the detail work on the webbing. So we're gonna jump back in now, and I think we got all the way through. Yeah, we did. So
Yeah.
the next thing we're gonna do is start working on these mushroom shoots, basically the things sticking out of the top of these gas spores. So we want to grab some Stonewall Gray, and we're going to dry brush these so they lighten up in color. Because as you can tell, like right now they're brown because basically base coat color the whole thing in brown in dark flesh tone. So we're
Mm.
gonna start working on to get these mushroom shoots to look more like what you see in the art from the game.
Hey.
Yay!
Okay, I need a small
And Stonewall Gray is
dry
just a lighter gray tone. I haven't used mine in a while, so I need to make sure I'm shaking it. They're just fun little guys. Or they're just
Yeah.
little fungi, says Void TV35.
Also, hi TTRP Gifts. I love that they said I'm always learning something new about D&D because this is the first time I've seen these creatures.
Oh.
They're we were talking a bit
They are
about this last
interesting.
week.
Should I pull up the stat block on them?
If you
Have
have
handy?
it
I
handy, that'd be
can.
cool because they do a really interesting thing, which is probably also why you might not have heard of it because it's it's the kind of creature where your DM has to be a little careful about when and how they
Mm-hmm.
deploy this creature because of a specific thing that they do. And while V pulls that up, so
Just a really
they're
quick thing that's
yeah.
kind of fun. I just typed in gas spores 5e, and in videos, our painting stream from last week is the second video listed on Google. Just saying.
Hey, the SEO is working. Yes. So yeah,
Okay.
these gas spores, when you attack them or they attack you, that's not
Well,
so weird.
that's yeah. That's
But
what they do
then
after.
yeah, it's so
Oh, I got it. I got the yeah.
they're gas spores. So guess what? If you destroy them, they go and suddenly you have to make, I think it's a Constitution saving throw.
Let me
I
see
think.
here. Yeah, Constitution saving throw or take 3d6 poison damage and become infected with a disease on a failed save.
And V, if you become infected with that disease on a failed save, what happens?
Well, let's see here. Spores invade an infected creature's system, killing the creature in a number of hours equal to 1d12 plus the creature's constitution score, unless the disease is removed. In half that time, the creature becomes poisoned for the rest of the duration. After the creature dies, it sprouts 2d4 tiny gas spores that grow to full size in 7 days.
Yeah, and they are like a CR1 half, right?
They are a CR. Yeah, half.
So these creatures are a lot like some other there's some like there's a couple of undead that are deceptively low CR but have a an ability that can be real nasty in the wrong situations.
Yeah.
So it's very possible you have not actually encountered these because if you are if you're at a level in where these would cause basically something they would be a challenge to take care of.
Yeah.
Your DM is probably being very judicious about using them because there's only certain ways that you can get rid of the poison condition, and yeah, it's one of those in where if you do get killed from it, then there's no bringing you back because now you are a gas spore.
Yeah.
So it is not uncommon for some of these creatures to just be like, you don't use them that often. And I think for me, that's why. I'm trying to
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
is it ghosts that are like only a CR half, but are deadly because of the like they can possess you and things. Um,
Yeah, ghosts aren't fun.
yeah. And once again, it kind of depends on the makeup of your group because
Yeah.
ghosts aren't fun unless you happen to have like a cleric hanging around who's
On top of
fairly
it.
powerful enough to
Yeah.
be able to deal with them. And then it can be kind of fun or easy. Um, and then even beyond that, it's you do have to be careful as a DM who you go after,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a whole possession mechanic. So yeah, there are definitely these creatures uh, that are cool and interesting, but also can be a challenge.
Yeah.
Um, Shadows, thank you, Void TV 35. Shadow is a
There we
CR
go.
1/4 and can just kill any player in 2-3 hits, even when healing because they drain strength. Yeah, that's the other one because yeah, there's not a lot of people remember, but in D&D, if one of your ability scores hits 0, you die. Done. It doesn't matter what your hit points are. No death saves, just done.
Keeping with the
So,
theme, the more you know.
yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah,
there's a
banshees
couple
are
of those.
cool.
There was a question. Fool Oops asks, how do you choose what mini to paint and how long does it take to work on the paint scheme?
Oh,
Well, V
well.
could definitely answer that the how long question. Well, she can answer both, but I'll answer at least the first half of that question. It is what we pick is a combination of what minis are available from WizKids,
Mm-hmm.
what is potentially going on in Idle Champions at the time that we might be able um to coordinate with.
Coordinate.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah, like when we did the when we did the Miria skin.
Yeah.
There, I words. Uh, because, she came out with that awesome skin. Um, and what would be fun to watch being painted? Because some of them are just not as fun as others.
Yeah.
For a variety of reasons. And a lot of that part of it is Vee is the expert, and so Vee can talk a little bit more about uh, how long it takes and what we pick.
Yeah, so a lot of what I'll do is WizKids sends us minis ahead of time. They have things called waves, and in the waves are the collections for what's going to be coming out, during certain periods of time. So we've been showing you things from waves 21 and 22 most recently. So I'll go through those waves, and I keep in mind everything that we have painted for you ahead of time. So if there's anything that's even like kind of like another monster, I put those into like the way back. And we've kind of done something like this. Let's not really bother with that again. And then I try and go for the more interesting and dynamic and unique, hello, unique, type of creatures just to kind of help keep it interesting because, after a period of time, you can only watch something getting painted, grays, blacks, and browns before you're kind of like, okay, I get how to work with grays, blacks, and browns, which is why we try and kind of keep things changing it up and doing a variety of different miniatures. Then what we'll do is Lauren and I, we sit down and chat from the list of minis that I have sort of pulled to, move forward with. Like these look like they could be fun. Let's take a look at them. Lauren and I sit down and we look at what's happening. Like what we just had a meeting doing this. We looked for the rest of the year, 2024 year. And well, no, summer, for 2024 summer through there. And we took a look at what was happening in game and with events for Idle Champions. And we try and get minis that either are direct nods to it, like, again, the Miria skin, or kind of riff off the theme of it. When we had October this last year, we had fun doing a bunch of creepy miniatures. So
Okay.
that was fun. That was fun to do. So it's all of that's kind of put into consideration. Then we pick and choose which minis from that list we want to do, and get those scheduled on for Paint and Slay. And then in terms of coming up with the paint schemes and the how to and everything like that, for me, a lot of it depends on the sculpts themselves. Whether it is a humanoid mini with high details on it, those can take a little bit more time to plot out and plan because I literally have to work from the base layer out to figure out what is the last thing that needs to be painted and then what needs to be the first thing painted to make it a lot easier in the process. Other things like these gas spores, I think it took me about 40 minutes to pull paint colors and paint notes for myself, because they're pretty standard. You start off and you build, and they're your colors. And then actually, this is kind of appropriate. We could talk about what we're thinking about doing for the summer, Lauren, right now because I'm going to use an example of what I had to do this morning. Then there are other minis like this morning where I literally have to sit down and swatch all of my gray paints next to each other because I need to make sure I am weeding out what is translating as a warm tone gray, what is translating as a neutral tone gray, and what is translating as the cool tone grays because I need more cool tone grays for this particular project. And that took
Yeah.
me a good chunk of the morning.
Yep.
Because gray will dry a different color than what it looks like in the bottle. That's another fun thing with grays.
Yeah. And this goes along with we also take suggestions from
Mm-hmm.
folks, both here in our chat and as well as on the Discord, discord.gg/idle champions. For example, last year we did the Yeti specifically because a bunch of people were
Wanted
asking
fur.
about painting
Yeah.
fur. Yeah. So what's coming up this summer is kind of a an amalgamation of all of that. Um, I'm gonna drink because I talked about the Discord. Do you want to talk about what we're doing?
So, what we're going to do is we're actually going to attack a larger mini. I know y'all want us to paint Tiamat. Tiamat is too big. Not feasible. But we are going to work on doing an adult dragon. So that's the fun part. Now, yes, you heard me say gray. So, that's a little hint there. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be painting the D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures adult silver dragon for a summer session painting type of thing.
Summer project.
Yeah, summer project. So we're going to get started with that at the end of June. and carry it through literally through the summer until September. Just because with summer vacations and like I have to, well, not have to. Oh my gosh, I have to. I'm gonna do D&D in a Castle again as a DM, so I will be away for a period of time. So the thing that'll be great about doing this larger miniature, and again, it's adult, which means it's sizable. What we can do is we can start working on one aspect.
I'll actually go grab it while you
yeah,
keep
if you
talking.
grab it, because mine is
It's
all the
right
way
there.
down in the basement. I put it away this morning.
I'll grab it.
So the thing that's going to be nice about this is because we're working with this adult dragon, which again is bigger, what we can do is work on one section of the dragon, like say we start painting a wing, then what we can say is like, okay, so homework for next week, because we don't have a paint and slay next week, paint the other wing, is sort of the approach we're going to take with this. So it'll probably be about 4 to 5 episodes to get this Dargan taken care of. But what I was doing this morning, and again, this is going back to your question, like how does this all work? This miniature took a lot more time, not just because of the size, but because I needed to check the paint colors and then come up with a list of paints, because I'm going to tell you this right now, there are some additional paints outside of the D&D prismatic paint sets that we're using. There's some from Vallejo and some from Folk Art, and that type of thing. But I wanted to get a list pulled together for everyone because this is a supply list that you'll need to paint this larger miniature. And I do recommend you get the supplies that are in this list. In fact, I pulled together a idea list on my Amazon shop to make it very easy. Caveat, I am not saying you have to buy from this link. I created this link because it gives you a visual, it gives you the full name, it gives you things like the SKU number, so that you can take all this information and go to wherever you would like to purchase these items and make it so much easier on you. So I think that link is in the Discord now.
Not yet. It will be by the end of today. Today's been kind of a weird, busy day, but it'll definitely be there.
Yeah.
And then circling back around, one of the other things, I don't know if you talked about this while I was grabbing the mini. We've wanted to do a bigger, and I'll say I've wanted to do a dragon. I've wanted to do big, giant dragon.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's a big dragon, so there's going to be a chunk of time being spent, like, we're now going to paint the whole thing this color. And that could take 2 hours. And that's not necessarily fun. Yeah. But when we realized over the summer, so Vee's got D&D in a Castle.
Yep.
One of the Fridays is July 4th or 5th.
Well, July 4th is the day before, so we figured most people with July 5th are going to be kind of long weekending it.
Yep. So that weekend, so there's no show on July 5th. And I think there's one other thing that's happening. I think it might be Gen Con.
Gen Con. You're gonna be
there's like a whole month and a half in where it's episode week off, episode week off, episode week off, which is perfect because then during the episodes, we can talk and show off some of the stuff that is a little more active and interesting to look at. And then there will be homework.
Yep.
Go and take your gray paint and just paint the whole thing gray. Go and take your paint and dry brush these wings.
Yep.
You know, do something that's going to take a while just because it's a big mini.
It is a big mini.
So that, like, literally, we've had that silver dragon sitting around for at least a year.
Yeah, I think that was a wave 21.
Yeah, just waiting for the correct time and the way to place it that makes sense for all of those different things that we've been talking about. So the how do you choose what mini to paint? I hope, Fool, we were able to answer all of that in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
And now...
So then now, these are pretty much, I did an overbrushing with this to get the Stonewall Gray nicely coated onto these shoots. Now what we're going to do is take the Stonewall Gray, add a little bit of dead white to it to make a lighter tone gray, and just lightly brush it along the cap areas, just to give them a little bit more enhancement from the stalks. But yeah, that was the other thing that I was doing this morning, which is why I was testing out all my grays. Like I went into other paint sets that I have and everything like that from Vallejo. What I want to make sure is, because there's going to be homework involved with this, is that we're not doing a lot of mixed paint. Because then it's going to be tricky to recapture mixed paint. Like if we get a whole wing painted up, you take a break for a couple days. If you're trying to mix it again, makes it a little trickier on you. So that's something else I'm being very cognizant of in plotting out this dragon. That, and there's some cool paints that you'll need to get from Folk Art, just for the shiny factor. Because, I mean, it's a silver dragon. I want to make sure it's popping and looking really cool.
Yeah. And for those of you who've watched the green and the black that we've done, you know that just because it is a this color dragon doesn't
Hmm.
mean you just paint the whole thing black and then
Right.
done. You want that kind of depth.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly. So
And caps.
the kips.
But I'm very excited because
Oh, I
I've
am too.
I've wanted to do that dragon for a while, and getting to that point where it's like, oh wait, this might be the perfect time to bust that dragon
Yeah.
out. Is yeah, so excited.
Yeah, it'll work out nicely for what we need this summer. Because the problem is like trying to, with the every other session off situation, it just makes it awkward to paint general minis that are like, well, this one could be painted maybe in a week. And then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
well, then we have like 20 minutes left of this mini. Let's start another mini, but then there's another break. So that's why this will work out
Yep.
well.
It's gonna be super nice and fun, and
Yeah.
I'm excited. Um, and yeah, like I said, there'll be a link and a list that I will put into the Discord once we're done here. I promise it'll be up before the end of the day today, and so that you all have plenty of time to go source from your local game store or online or wherever you need to source from, which I also have to do because there's a couple of paints that I don't have. So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Good. I'm glad. Should be a lot of fun. And again, I reiterate, yes, it's a link to my Amazon shop. I am not expecting you to order from there. I also want to make sure it's very clear and transparent. I don't want people to feel like they got a gotcha situation. Like, wait, this is a shop where she gets commissions. I mean, it's really not that much of a commission, and it's no extra charge to you. It doesn't change the price for what you're getting. But I just want to make sure it's clear. This was the easiest way to pull together a coherent list so that regardless of where you are shopping, you can see the product, get the SKU numbers, and you can even do some price shopping that way, anyways. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, my plan is I've shown you the phone. My plan is
Mm-hmm.
literally at some point to take the trip down to my friendly local game store, Mox, and just show them the list and be like,
Yeah.
this is what I need.
Do you have the
What do you
bottles?
have? And
Yeah.
then, go from there.
Yeah. Okay. So that I'm gonna do a quick thing with my camera.
Okay.
I
I'm just
think what
finishing
I
up
can do.
these caps.
Did I not do a zoom in as much? No, I did. But let's try that. Slightly more zoomed in. Oh yeah, that's better. I'm realizing today, I'm really having to hold my arms up a lot. I'm like, thank you, sir. May I have another? Yeah, please. That's better. Yeah, there we go.
It's
That's
okay. They
better.
gave me an extra second to finish with this other
Sweet.
cap.
Okay. Now the good news is we're gonna stick with dead white. We're done with Stonewall Gray, and we're gonna paint the eyeballs. So you're gonna want a detail brush for this.
All right.
And we're just gonna put dead white onto the eyeballs. Now just keep in mind with these minis, you have the eyeballs when you see two little orbs in the front, okay? The back has sort of this mishmashy amoeba-like shape. That's not your eyeball. I mean, you could make it an eyeball, but
I'll get to it. I'll get to it. Yeah.
but yeah, we want the white to go on the little orb in the front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because as O Snapdragon says,
Yep.
the schedule for the summer is going to be sporadic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would slow clap, but I'm currently holding stuff, and so I can't.
Yeah.
All right, and then so the whole
The whole
orb
eyeball.
in the middle.
Yep. Yep. So you'll want to edge because obviously we did that webbing work. If you don't get completely to the side, that's okay because that'll sort of translate into a shadow around the eyeball.
Shadow around the eyeball would be a good band name.
Hello,
Like,
everyone. We are shadow around the eyeball.
yeah, like a good alternative rock band name.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Seattle.
Have you painted your eyeballs on your minis? I can't hear you. Have you painted your eyeballs on your minis? At least these eyeballs are not the tiny, tiny, tiny ones that we've done
Yeah, it's
before.
a little
So,
bit more easily dealt with because we're not like literally get out a toothpick.
mm-hmm.
Basically, what I do is I sort of edge around the eyeball first, and then I'll go in and do the paint coating. Come on, there we go, camera of the center.
Oh, nope, nope.
Okay,
That's not where I want. That's not where I want the white. No.
so now I can give you before and after. Diddy.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hmm. There's my one.
Eyeball.
Eyeballs.
I do think it's funny that all these monsters we're discussing today have a singular eyeball.
Yeah, that was totally unintentional,
It
but
really
kind of
was.
cool that it just happened that way. And not
Also,
just singular eyeballs, but big
yeah.
eyeballs.
By the way, thank you for that song stuck in my head most of this morning because of your repost.
Yeah, I was telling V earlier, my only regret because I reposted her post about these minis and specifically about uh the Cyclops singing. I couldn't think of a song that's a musical theater song with I in it. I could only think of pop songs. So, and not that that's bad, but I really tried.
Yeah.
I spent longer than necessary trying to think of one.
Oh, the thing from Oklahoma where the corn is high as the elephant's eye.
Yeah,
There's that. I'm trying to think of
there
like
is
other.
that. There is that. Well, and the only one that I was able to think of at the time, it was a similar type of thing to that line from that song, and where it wouldn't have been that
Mm-hmm.
obvious what I was referencing. Les Miserables,
Mm-hmm.
uh there's a song that has a uh that just says something about an eye, and I'm like, I could use this, but it's not what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
Right.
But that song is fun.
Yeah.
TTRP Gift says CNE stands for coloring nice, incy creatures. I mean,
Okay. It do. Yep.
today for sure.
Now let me show these off without the lamp right on top of them so that I could see what I was doing. Now we're getting a sense of what these little monsters look like. They did the mash.
I do want to laugh, but I'm I'm so close to being done. Okay, there
That's
we go.
fair. That's fair.
Eyeball.
Okay, now this is going to seem like a funky little back and forth we're going to start doing. I have my reasons, okay? I have my
You
reasons.
always do. We trust you.
So we're going to go to black once these eyes are dry, which, hi, it's me right now with allergies.
Mm.
My eyes are so dry, it's bad. And what we're going to do is we're going to put like we're starting the base of the iris is basically what we're doing. We're not going right to the pupil with the black. So we're going to put a black circle to start creating the outline of the iris. And then we're going to go back to white. And we're going to put a slightly smaller white dot in there to then put the red on there. This is all to make the iris kind of pop out a little bit, because if we do just the red right on top, it's going to have a cartoonish, plasticky look to it. By putting the white right on, again, by putting the red right on top of the white, the color is just going to be too vivid. By putting a black on first, then putting a smaller white dot in the center, it's going to create this depth to the iris instead. Hi, Hemingway.
Oh, it's cat time. Everybody in chat, say hi to the cat.
He just crawled up under my desk through my seat like there's a gap. You're a goober.
Well, while we all enjoy the cat, okay, so we're basically putting a dot in
In
the
a
middle.
dot. Yeah, so we're
Okay.
basically going to put a dot in the middle, which I'm going to put you down now. Okay? Okay. Bloop. So we'll take black, still using that detail brush. And get my elbows anchored. I need the light back. Come back.
I don't know how well
It's
mine's
actually
going
going
to
to be
show
a
up.
larger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like I said, this isn't going to be for the pupil.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Also, in this case, I'm not unhappy with starting small and then
Honestly, it's
slowly
yeah.
getting bigger.
So right now this is going to have a very anime blasted out pupil look to it.
Someone went to the eye doctor and they
Yeah.
did that thing in where they dilate your pupils.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I put mine dead center. You could always have fun and make one look, off in a different direction if you wanted to, like we've done in the past with different eye creatures, like the beholder.
I do that with this second one. Actually, no, I think for now I'm gonna stick with I'm gonna stick within the center mostly because while I was thinking about it and I was thinking of, oh, and then we have to put the white in and then we have to do the red and then
Yeah.
like there's a couple of other steps and I'm like, I think I'm just gonna stick with being in the middle.
Stuck in the middle with you. Okay. So here you can see. Creepy, creepy eyes. All right. Now we want that to dry for a beat because we're then going to go in and give that a little white. And then we'll put the red on.
Oh. Oh, Plum Bob, back to musical eyes. Rocky the Musical opened on Broadway in 2014, making Eye of the Tiger a show tune.
Ooh.
That's true. That's true. Okay. All right. I like it.
Eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight.
There you go. New song to have in your brain.
Oh, you know who does a really good lip sync version of that? From Supernatural. Is that Jensen? Yeah, it's Jensen.
Oh, really?
Jensen. Oh, there's like a real little float around every so often, and you see he's like literally rising up from the car driver's seat, like he had it reclining, and then he starts singing the song. It's hysterical.
I'll have to look that up.
Worth looking. I was going to say it's something that's worth looking up. Okay, so I'm going to go back to. Whoa, hi. Sorry, my oldest just walked in with a bunch of packages in his arms.
Yay! It's package day.
Packages.
Gifts.
All right, so now we're going to go back to Dead White, and the name of the game here is to not fill in the black dot entirely. We want to leave an edging of black around it and just put a thin layer of white, and you'll see why when we go to put the red on. Like it's even a little streaky, and that's okay. So it looks like, hold on, let me get the flash. So it looks like that now.
Okay. Circles within circles within circles.
There's going to be more. Get ready. There's going to be more. And we'll do the same to the other eye.
I'm glad there's 2 of these minis in this set because being able to go back and forth means you're not having to wait too long.
That's the nice thing when you have paired minis like this and you're doing the same paint job. Take care of the one, move to the other, flop over.
Okay.
All right, so you can see now they kind of have almost like this cataract zombie eye thing happening. So we're going to let that dry for a beat. I'm going to rinse my brush, and we're going to need bloody red. Or, no, Rust Monster. Rust Monster, that's right. I wanted to get away from bloody red because we've been using that around. Rust Monster. Here it is.
Sorry, I'm still...
Totally okay.
I'm going nice and slow with this because I think because of... I don't think if I mess this up and want to fix it, if I take the water on the paintbrush trick, it's really going to work that well. So I'm trying to just be extra careful. Okay, Rust Monster.
Rust Monster.
Rust Monster. Nope, that's just Rust. That's
not to be confused with our champion, Rust.
Nope. There we go.
Okay, so now with what?
Boy TV says, I can't stop replacing tequila from the titular song with Orkira in my head.
Oh dear.
You're welcome.
So now we're going to take Rust Monster, and this will go over both where we put the black and the white. What's going to happen is the black will play through a little bit more. Again, to give this iris a little bit more depth.
I'm just kind of watching at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So is this like overbrushing, or is this just straight up?
No, we're straight up applying the color directly over these two.
All right.
So I'm taking Rust Monster to the edge of where we also had the black. And then also loading it up in the center. I'll show you in just a second what I mean by it gives the iris a little bit more depth of interest to it. So you can see looking at this now, Lauren.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It's kind of a fun trick to make irises more interesting on larger creatures. All right, put that one down, do the same thing to the other.
So much quiet. So much.
Yeah,
so
much focus.
Yeah.
Much quiet, much focus.
This might not be the smallest eye we've worked on, but it's got a lot going on.
Yeah. Okay.
Bonk.
Now we definitely want this to dry a little bit more.
Oof, yeah.
Oh, but look at how lovely.
I'm surprised how quickly the blacks and the whites dried.
Yeah. Okay, so while those dry, because that has a couple layers on there now, let's shift over to the base. And we're going to dry brush Rust Monster, since we have that out, with some dark flesh tone, and dry brush the base with that.
Dark flesh tone. There you are. 1-to-1 mix?
Yeah,
or
1-to-1. 1-to-1's perfect.
Okay. There you go, everybody. If you ever want to paint or dry brush a base, remember, Rust Monster and dark flesh tone. That's a mixture.
Isn't it, though? Actually, is that light enough?
I was actually just... Yeah.
I
was actually just looking at the same thing. I'm like, did I not put enough Rust Monster?
I'm going to take some white and add to it.
Okay. Dead white?
Dead white, yep. Because I still have some
white.
left. Yeah, that's better. All right, now, let's See if that's light enough. I'm doing a quick test swatch. No, I'm going to go even lighter. There we go.
Oh, even lighter. More.
More is more.
Mm.
There, this should do the trick. Yeah. Okay, great. So now I'm just dry brushing this on to bring out the texture of the base a little bit more.
Yep, that's me. Just continuing to look in both directions and be like, "What's going on over here? What's going on over here?" This is what happens when multitasking is going on. It's Peyton and Slay chat. Wait, no.
Paint in mode. So you can see it gives it just a little bit of definition. So get the camera focus. There we go. Compared to the flat. Do.
I will say, even though since we've 45 minutes in, wow,
Yeah.
how'd that all happen?
I don't know.
Since I haven't really said this since the beginning, if you do have a question, still continue to put question in big capital letters before your question in chat. Because even though I'm pulling double duty, it makes it a lot easier for me not just to see your question, but to make sure it is a question you actually want answered on air. Because otherwise we won't necessarily always read your stuff out on air, because sometimes stuff is just for chat, and that's
right,
okay.
That's just it. Like sometimes, they're chatting with each other because it didn't have question in front of it.
Exactly. So do not be afraid, because it just makes it a lot easier for me to look over and be like, oh, okay, done.
Okay, so
bonk.
Ta-da's. Now their bases have a little bit more pop in, and the eyes are getting there. So now what we're going to do is, yes, we're going to go back to black, and we're going to put pupils in. Okay, so dot of black.
Well, I'm still trying to clean off this brush. For some reason, this color is just not coming out of my dry brush that well. Okay, there we go.
Oh, dear.
Okay, dot of black in the center, you said?
Yep. Because now we are doing the pupil work.
Okay.
And you can dilate it out as much as you want to. Whether you want it to be like a fine point or a more noticeable point for the pupil.
That works.
It's focused on you.
It's so focused. So much focus. It's a little bigger than I kind of wanted, but it's not so bad. This will show up better in the pictures that I'll take for on my social media.
The socials.
Also, I need more paper towels. So much dry brushing. So many paper towels.
Oh dear.
I've gotten to the point when I'm prepping for our show in where it's just easier for me to grab the entire roll and have the roll of paper towels nearby, because it feels like every time I don't grab the entire roll, I run out. I underestimate what I need. Okay.
Focus on these, camera. Doesn't want to play. There we go.
Ooh.
Okay, so I made one slightly smaller and one slightly bigger just so people could see. Smaller's here, bigger's on this side.
I totally did mine the same way on purpose.
Then what we're going to do, give that a beat to dry. We're going to go back in and we're going to take a little bit of dead white and just basically do a fleck of light on each of the eyeballs.
on the black we put on the red, that we put on the black, that we put on the white, that we put on the black, that we put on the...
This is the mini that swallowed the fly.
This is the Matryoshka doll of minis.
It is.
This is how many colors can we put in this? All right, I actually, because I used the white on the other bit, I actually need to put more white down.
Oh no.
Nah, well, it's gonna be a flex, so literally,
Yeah.
I just need a drop, but still.
So
Okay.
Just put a teensy weensy. Come on, camera. You can do it. I believe in you. Hello, this. It's being amazing.
Okay.
There it is. Oh, almost. Arrgh. This is the one thing about the autofocus that makes me bonkers. All right, well, I'll do the other one.
Oof. Okay.
It doesn't have to be a big dot, just a little bloop.
Yeah.
A little bloop will do ya.
Yeah, bloop is a technical term, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
When you paint your own minis.
There, this is showing up better on this one. So yeah, all those layers just to get the irises done. I like it.
Okay. Oof. Stretched out.
Shake it out.
Such close. Such detail.
Such close, such detail. So there. Okay,
Oof.
so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our umber wash, and on everything but the eyeballs, we're just going to do a thinned out layer of umber wash, which is basically a brown wash.
Okay. Everything else on the spore?
The whole thing.
Okay.
Just
including the base.
Yeah, just don't do the eyes. The eyes don't need it.
All right. Well, I think I'll start with the base.
Unless you want it to look like they have jaundice.
Nah.
I figured as much, but just in case.
These are already creepy minis. I don't think we need that. Okay, let's use you. You look like a decent sized brush. I guess I'll start with the back, since that's one of the places we haven't painted yet.
Yeah.
That seems like the safest place to start with a wash and give everything time to dry.
Yep. So I just thinned mine out nicely, because I don't want it to like darken the colors so much. It's just kind of fall into the recesses a little bit and help blend the paint tones together a little more with the shadowing.
Yeah.
You even want to get those little tentacles at the bottom here.
And that'll be the challenging part of trying to get the tentacles while not getting too much on that piece of clear bit that's holding it all up. Yeah. I know we've got ways of fixing that, but...
We have ways of fixing it.
We have ways of making you clear.
The paint.
But I find the more I can avoid having to do that, the better it is. So
that's fair.
Especially in this case, since there's stuff right in front of the clear. Is there like a technical term for the clear bit that's holding the mini?
Flight post.
Ah, okay.
And I'm also adding it to the base. I'll do side by side so you can see the difference between, it sounds horrible, washed and unwashed.
Always wash your gas spores before releasing them back into the wild.
So that gives you a sense of difference. You can see the details pop just a little bit more with that thinned out brown wash, umber wash.
Yeah.
Both on the base and on the spore itself. So we're going to do the same thing to the other.
You know me, I love a good wash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
You think?
I think I'm just making sure I got um around the eyeball without leaving too much out. It's going to be hard to see on my
Fair.
camera, but
Yeah. I get what you
avoiding
mean.
avoiding the
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
essentially, I think is.
I follow.
I also
Honestly,
like how this is tempering down the orange so that it does
that's
kind of
just
look a
it.
little bit
Yeah.
more like the brown that's in the actual mini down there.
Yeah, the official artwork, it's actually a noticeable change in color. But this just softens the line so it's not as harsh of a demarcation.
Yeah.
Which is why I like to do the wash with this like that.
Oh, Snapdad says, I totally hear Bob Ross. Now it's time for your bravery test.
Oh, hi, Miss Thing.
Also,
Hi,
thank you.
Maury.
I'm glad that you were enjoying how they look. They're coming along nice and creepy.
Yeah.
They're they're growing on me. Aha.
As long as they're growing on and not in.
Mm.
Yes, hello, Rora. All right, so we're going to let these dry a little bit before really the last thing we're going to do is take rubbing alcohol with the paintbrush and just remove any little nips and little flecks of paint
Mm.
that might have hit your flight post.
And I got a couple.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
am
I have. I wasn't even trying to be careful. I'm like, I know how to remove you. I'm not gonna bother.
whereas I'm like, I'm not necessarily that good at removal, so I did my best. I think I'm actually pretty proud of how little I got on
Nice.
those clear
Oh, look, I can
plastic
do the
pieces.
back and the front version. Hee hee.
Hey.
That's fun. That's fun. So we're gonna let these guys dry for now, and we'll go back to them towards the end. Hi.
Oh, everybody say hi to the kitty.
Here she comes. She's like, I want the attention now, Mama. Yep, yep. Hi, baby girl. Um,
They overheard that we need to let something dry and they know
mm-hmm.
what that means. And so it's like, now, go now.
Filler, filler. She needs filler. No, seriously though, honey, honey bunny. Can I put you down? Don't give me those. Nice.
Aw.
Very nice.
Stay and get dry.
Say hi to the camera.
Today, we're going to be painting a tabaxi. Now, Vee has a tabaxi already prepared for us to look at so that we know what we're going after. Just like a cooking show where,
Mm-hmm.
oh, look, I already have a tabaxi in the oven. Wait,
Yep.
no, I already.
All right. Time to put you down. No, this is not cuddle time. No. No. She's like, I know what's going to happen.
I will tell you, it hasn't gone up yet because there's been a lot that's been going on the YouTubes. But I did grab the clip of you and Luke,
Oh, funny.
and where Luke Gygax has his dog in his
Grogu,
lap, and then
yeah.
one of your cats came up like literally moments after you said,
Yep.
"Yeah,
It was
eventually my
Grogu and
cat's gonna
Roy.
come on by." Yep,
Goofballs.
it's like a few moments later, cat.
I know, I know. All right, so we're gonna have some fun. This is the Cyclops from WizKids, and if I was no, I'm not good. I'm like, if I'm good, I'll have the back piece to the. I don't have it. This is what we're gonna start working on today, and I thought it would be fun because there's a lot of exposed flesh, for lack of a better phrase, on this figure to show you how you can have some fun with undertones to flesh sections of your miniatures. So we're going to do something that's going to seem rather like, what are you doing? Why? It's a little jarring. He's going to be a little green man for a little bit before we go into a more fleshy tone. This is so I can give him... Yeah, he's gonna kind of look like the Hulk for a little bit, but I want to try and give him a sallow skin tone. Okay, so kind of
Ah.
tap into that olive skin tone, how it can look more sallow type of thing. So with that, we're actually gonna put goblin green, and we're gonna mix that with a little bit of the elf skin, right? I'm like elfic flesh, elf skin, elf something.
Elfic
Um,
flesh.
elf skin tone. We're gonna mix
Goblin
elf skin tone with goblin green to get basically the base layer that we're going to put onto the skin of this Cyclops.
green.
And
Okay.
that is going to give us our undertone for your skin tone.
Equal parts?
I'm going to play that by ear. Give me 1 second to mix it to see how I want this to end up. I just realized I didn't
Sure.
take care of my detail brush like I needed
Oh,
to.
I'll go back to checking on chat. Hi, chat. Chat's been quiet today.
Chat has
Or
been
maybe it's
quiet
just
today.
I'm doing a bad job of both moderating
chat's been
and being
quiet.
on screen. Yeah. Hey, listen, sometimes you just got to get into the zen of painting. We also had a lot of announcements at the beginning of the show, so for all we know, people are off looking at the take this stuff and off looking at there was a lot. Also, I did give a history lesson about CTVs, so maybe a whole bunch of people went off to go look at old school TVs and the fun that people could have.
Okay, so right now I'm going with 3 parts goblin to 2 parts elf.
Okay.
Yeah. That's giving me what I want. I'll show you what it looks like when I have it fully mixed.
Yeah.
And you will want to thin this out too. So let me just do a quick swatch.
Okay, so almost getting more of a minty.
Not quite a minty. It's more like a pea soup green.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And we're gonna apply this to where you see skin.
There's a lot of places.
There is, so I think I'm debating. Do I want to start off small and then go? I need to thin it out. Just as I said, don't forget to thin it out. I'm gonna put a couple drops of water into this, and then start painting it on.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna start in the undercarriage.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's.
And are you thinking about like edging first and then?
I don't know. I'm kind of just looking at places that'll be easier to attack. And then just FYI, this does have like a little bit of underwear situation going on with this sculpt. We will take care of the underwear later, which I never thought I'd be saying.
Listen, once again, it's D&D.
True.
We all got to say weird things that are weird.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens. I'm just happy that this creature has underwear.
You know what's funny is normally with this type of a deal, when there's a wrap around the hips, they tend to just sort of like kind of Ken doll it, for lack of a better description. Like there's really nothing to speak of underneath.
Yeah.
It's like just blocked off. So it's funny when I was looking at how to start painting this, I'm like, oh, that's new. I actually said it out loud. I'm like, that's new.
Someone decided that
right.
They wanted to have some fun making underoos.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense for a humanoid creature with intelligence. Like, you know, sure, why not?
Exactly.
And especially also with a mini that's this big. Like at some point with medium or small creatures, it's one of those, when are you ever going to see this creature from this angle?
Exactly.
But the bigger it gets, the more likely you are to see a creature from all angles. So covering all the bases, literally.
Of course, the fun part is how am I going to get to that angle game is starting up already. That's kind of why I wanted to paint this section first, just to kind of get that tediousness out of the way. I'm also not being too precious about. Yeah, I'm not being too precious about the ropes that are around his legs.
Okay.
If you get any colors on there right now, that's okay, because we're not going to hit those until the high detail end. So we'll be okay.
That's good to know because I was just starting to tackle that leg and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, no, you're
all
fine.
right.
Like I'm giving this a similar treatment like we just did with the gas spores. I'm working our way out, so if something higher up gets covered, it's gonna be okay later on down the line.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be funny if we left this looking like the Hulk? Oh my god.
I mean, with the exception of the fact that it's a single eye, I could definitely see this mini in green standing in as a Hulk miniature
Mm-hmm.
for your Marvel needs. But yeah, the one eye would kind of be a little weird. Although there's so many different versions of all of the Marvel characters, it wouldn't
I
surprise me if there's a
mean,
version out there
fact.
that only has one eye.
True, true, true. You never know.
Uh, I am not going to say any spoilers. And I preface that because what I'm about to say is Luke and I have been watching and enjoying X-Men 97,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely after especially the last couple of episodes we've gotten into conversations of like, wait, did they always have this power? Are they talking about this history or do you think it's a different history? Wait, do you think that this happened here? Because like that those are characters that have been around for a very long time and a bunch of different reboots, and
Yeah, yeah.
there's, you know, how many different versions of Earth and versions of the X-Men and all that kind of stuff. So
Mm,
it's kind of fun to have those discussions in the right frame of mind, which is
right.
just, huh, all right, they went here and they did that and they did this.
I'm here for it.
It's certainly the most I've spent on the Marvel Wiki in a while, being like, wait.
Oh,
He can
fun
do
though.
that? Hold on a second. Could they always do this?
Yeah. I mean, the fun thing is when I did Hero Click stuff for Whiz Kids, I learned a lot about the variety of storylines and everything like that because
Yeah,
of Hero Clicks, Marvel sets, and what have you.
that makes sense.
Especially with Scott Porter doing the unboxing of the different launches. He's like a walking encyclopedia. I'm always so impressed of like he can name the comic book number and give the story, and he always does these great little behind the scenes little snippets
Nice.
that I appreciate. So I was like, okay, cool. So I learned a lot by just literally editing those videos to go up on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's fun to see more and more people realizing, oh wait, there's this storyline that happened in this particular version. There's this storyline that happened over here, and da da da. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It really is
Well,
fun.
and Luke 100% knows way more about anything comics than I do. But every once in a while, I it's not that I know something more about comics, but I'll know something more about a character as they're portrayed in, say, the original 92
Mm.
animated series. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's fun to have also that moment of I can help fill in lore too.
There you go.
But yeah, it's mostly me learning from Luke and learning from the wiki of like, oh, wait, hold on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Pause
When
button.
could they do that?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is. It's interesting to have that all sort of play out. You get more information as it goes. Again, don't worry about like the wraps and stuff going around the body. We'll take care of those later on down the line. You do want to make sure you're getting this green into the recesses of everything because this is basically going to become a shadow type of um, filler for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to do some
Uh,
fun getting the space color on, then doing some dry brushing, overbrushing with other colors, and then glazing it with the elf skin tone itself to have it,
ah.
look more fleshy.
I appreciate that the rough skirt wrap thing,
I know, right?
the way it lays on the body, there is
Mm-hmm.
actually some bits of separation.
Yep.
And so you can kind of stick your paintbrush in between so that you're able to get those that real close line. It's
Yeah,
that was nice.
it is
I
helpful.
appreciate that.
You'll notice like there are veins on this sculpt. See if it'll pick
Yeah.
up on it. So we're gonna do like a little bit of blue veining underneath before we start glazing,
Oh,
so we can
nice.
have the veins sort of showing through. So yeah, I thought it'd be fun to do a couple of different little techniques with this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we've had anything with this kind of prominent veins before, so
No.
that'll be a
Yeah.
cool new thing.
Yeah.
Gargoyle 994 says, I'm usually the one who knows things, which my wife takes advantage of, but that's usually just because I'll go down the rabbit hole on the internet about whatever fandom we're getting into. I mean,
Ah.
that's half the fun, right?
Yeah.
Of just kind of, you know, learning more about a thing that you're enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when it comes to Marvel,
There's so
there is
much.
more than enough to keep you busy
It
forever.
really is.
Alright, is that part of body or is that part of rope?
When in doubt, paint it green.
Yeah, I think that's part of body. I mean, I know you said you don't have to be too precious, but I'm trying to at
Yeah.
least
No, I
make
understand.
sure I at least know where I'm putting stuff.
Yeah.
Like, wait,
Fair enough.
is that body? I don't know. Okay, here we go.
Kind of want to name this guy Shrek, just for the tongue in
Which
cheek
is
of it.
which will be funny, especially when they're not green anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, wait,
What?
why?
Why is it Shrek? Why Shrek?
Inside joke.
Reasons.
As in
Literally inside joke.
yeah, inside, underneath all of the painting.
Uh huh.
In their heart, they're green.
Donkey. Okay, it's canon now. Cyclops sound like Shrek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a movie series I have not seen in a very
Oh,
long
wow, yeah.
time. Oh, okay.
Have you seen the Puss in Boots one that came out more recently?
No, but I want to because I've heard a lot of really
It
interesting
was,
things about
yeah,
how serious it
yeah.
is.
It wasn't as like yeah. It's still obviously it's a cartoon and kids are going to enjoy it, but it has some layers to it for the adults who are watching.
That's
Found it
cool.
fascinating.
Well, and related to that, X-Men 97 is 100% for adults.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
100% for adults, not for kids.
No.
I think we finally got to the point in Western animation, at least, because that's kind of always been the way with other places and their animation, that just because it's animated does not mean it's for kids.
Yeah.
And X-Men 97, super cool, not for kids. Oh, yes. Thank you to everybody putting in the how-to code into
Yeah.
the chat. Yeah, that little clip right there, less than a minute, will show you exactly what you can do. So you can get the Electrum chest code, which is down there, or if you put in exclamation mark code into the chat, it'll give you it in text, so you can very easily just copy pasta it on in. And most of the time I can kind of show it off, but at the moment, because we're doing mini painting, I don't have the game up. So it's a little harder
Yeah.
to it's a little hard to describe, but that is an excellent video. It's less than a minute and you will be all set. And then come to our Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions, where there
Woohoo.
is a whole channel dedicated to codes that are out there so that you can get more free stuff.
Nice. Uh-oh. Oh no.
Detakion01 says, I wish there were more 97 episodes at X-Men 97. The animation was so much cleaner than the original series. Agreed. I love that they took the style of the original series and were pretty much 100% accurate to it,
Nice.
But then they just made the animation way better.
Less janky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've learned how to do all sorts of cool things
Oh
since
yeah.
for a show. So yeah, it's definitely um and then being able to do things in a show that, because in 92 it would have been considered a cartoon, and so you
Exactly.
couldn't do uh adult storylines, mature storylines. I
Yeah.
should probably say that. Adult has a different connotation.
Mature
Um but
focus.
yeah, come on, focus. Um I don't know offhand. Does anyone know offhand, once again, without going into spoilers, how many episodes in this season are there? I actually don't remember offhand, and I don't even know if I looked that up. And I ask that of chat because we're just used to asking chat things
Mm-hmm.
because they're awesome and we'll go look stuff up. So I'm sure give it a few seconds and someone will be like, there are this many episodes.
Because chat is super helpful like that.
Yeah. I mean, both my hands are a little full.
Right?
But yeah, if you are at all a fan of the X-Men, and you are not a youngin, I highly recommend it. It is
Nice.
very cool show.
That's on Disney, right?
Yeah, Disney
Oh.
Plus. And it's one of the ones that is releasing once a week instead
Aha.
of it being a whole, here's everything all at once all the time, which I super appreciate.
That is
I
nice.
really enjoy digesting things 1 week at a time.
Maybe I'll work on watching a couple episodes next week then.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's good for everybody, but especially for folks my age. Oh, we're talking age again. Well, like for folks my age who remember when the original
Oh, yeah. Like,
X-Men, that cartoon was airing. It's like you were saying in chat about the better animation uh technique while still keeping with the style of the original show.
that
Uh
really is cool to hear.
looks like 11 Gucciolini is saying 11 question mark. It's also possible they haven't announced how many episodes there are, which is very possible.
So many angles on this guy.
Yeah. And we're back to armpits. Ah, it's always the armpits.
Yeah, no armpitties.
Always the armpits. They've gotta be difficult. Why you gotta be difficult?
I'm just one Cyclops. What do you want from me?
D Takaran says 10 total with 8
8 released.
released.
Okay.
So, and no
Good to know.
announcement about the next season yet, but we'll see.
TBD.
And I mean, not only are they potentially waiting to see how the whole thing plays out,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, animation has gotten a lot more streamlined and better over the years. It still takes a
Oh,
lot
it's still
longer to
time
put out an
consuming, yeah.
animated series than it does anything else. So I wouldn't be surprised if even if they announce that there is going to be a second season, that
It'll be a couple
it comes
years.
along with, but you're not going to see it until,
Yeah,
which that's
totally fair.
that's fine. I'd rather have it keep that quality for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm actually going to add a little bit more water.
Okay.
I think it's starting to dry out a little bit.
Oh, fair enough.
It's getting all clumpy.
Oh dear.
How dare.
No
Ah,
clumpy clumpies.
no clumps. Oh,
Huh?
they confirmed season 2 back in March. Okay,
Oh,
cool.
there we go.
Cool. I mean, it seems to be getting a lot of really good reviews, and everyone that I've talked to has enjoyed it. That's
Nice.
not always a guarantee that you're going to get more of a thing, but
Right, but still.
it helps.
Yeah, and this dude has an eyebrow. Don't be precious about the eyebrow. You'll make yourself frustrated if you try.
I was just about to say, well, he's got an eye. Of course he has an eyebrow.
So the interesting thing is we're going to do a lot of working with these green tones. The reason why we're starting with the skin first as opposed to like doing the mouth and the eyes is because I want to get the green on first with the dry brushing and everything. Because if we try to do the interior mouth and the eyeball, then put the greens on, that's where it gets a little tricky.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we're going to jump to those details next week. Actually, we'll start with the eyes and the mouth. Because I'm actually going to black the eye out.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll put white over it once we're done doing the majority of the mini painting. It's just that'll, again, give it more of a deep set eye appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did I get everything that's exposed flesh green?
Yeah, I've got one hand and the face left, and then looking for trouble, looking for places I missed. I'm actually going to move
Pardon
to
me,
a smaller
sir.
brush.
I don't mean to be rude, but I need to check out your underwear line.
Listen, he's a model. He's used to it. This is just part of the job.
Oh, God.
Okay. And then after all these weeks of having multiple minis going at once, for a little while, we're just going to have this Cyclops going.
Yeah, exactly.
I did not realize really until I was getting set up for today's show how long we've been doing, how the last couple of shows have been multiple minis all at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah, it's just been the nature of the timing with these, how they've been playing out.
Yeah.
All right, so I want that to dry a little bit before we move on to dead flesh. Because we're going to start doing an overbrush with dead flesh everywhere we've just put the green. Again, this is adding to the layers of undertone for the skin before we do glazing. Yeah, so.
Well, we still got to go back and... Is there anything else actually that we're doing with the gas spores? Are we done with them?
Oh, crap, you're right. Cleaning them. Oh, but mine are still wet. Ooh, this may not happen on my end now that I'm looking at it. My bases are still a little too wet. And considering I want to make sure you have that extra time.
Yeah.
If anything, I'll explain what the last steps are. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can't do any removing right now because that's going to strip the mini completely if I get any rubbing alcohol on that puddle.
All right. Oh, yeah, because we're cleaning up the... Is there any other painting we're doing?
No, we're all done. We're like fully done with the painting. What we have left is honestly, it's just like a little bit of cleanup work where basically take a brush in 90% rubbing alcohol and just carefully apply the brush to the flight post with the rubbing alcohol, and it'll start pulling away that paint so you can clean that up. And then just do a nice coat of, are gas spores slimy?
I think so.
Okay, so, hi, Hems. So, no.
I would say no. I don't remember anything specific about them in the description, but...
I didn't think so. So then I would, except for the eyeballs, leave the eyeballs for the gloss, like put gloss on the eyeballs. But then you would just do a nice matte coat with the Mod Podge Ultra. Okay?
Okay.
That's really all that's left on these guys. I'm purposely not picking up the other one because the base is still not dry yet. Oh, Dan Dillon says, I think most fungus isn't. I would lean towards not slimy. Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to. I'm like, between it being plant, which a lot of plants are not slimy, and also flying, I have no idea why my initial instinct is, oh, this is a flying thing, not slimy.
They dry themselves off because of the breeze.
I don't know. I don't know why. There's no logical explanation, but in my gut, If you fly, you're probably not slimy. Also, did you paint the hair green as well?
No, I painted
Okay,
around
good.
the hair.
Okay.
If stuff gets on the hair, we can still work around it. I'm not worried about that. But there's no need to paint it green. It's not like they've been swimming in a pool.
I didn't think so, but I've made it to that part of the face, so I figured I'd
Gotcha.
double check.
Okay, so what I want to start next, since we're not doing a mixing of colors, is we'll go over to Dead Flesh, which is the color we also use in the gas spores. Uh-oh. We got Dan chatting. Plus, since beholders aren't often depicted as slimy and gas spores fake as them. They do? Another
Wait,
point. What? Dan says that gas spores fake to be... Oh, that's neat.
With the... Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fake out. Oh, very cool. They generate gases. Attacker on.
Gas is not slimy.
Yeah.
I've become the meme of the person sitting at the table with the big giant piece of paper that says, you know, gas spores are not slimy. Change my mind.
that amused me. Okay, so back over to Dead Flesh. Which the funny thing about this Dead Flesh is the outside of the bottle makes it look like it's this color. It ain't, folks.
Yeah.
It's gonna come out a paler green. Like a yellowish green.
Where did I put my Dead Flesh? There you are.
See, not the same color. Ew. All right, so basically the name of the game now is just basically take Dead Flesh and overbrush this onto the mini. So we're not doing a dry brush. It's not a light touch. We're actually adding a layer, but trying to keep it out of those more recessed musculature details of the mini.
Okay. I'm grabbing my big brush. The biggest dry brush I got.
All right, I'm going to start with this leg because I'm pretty sure that's where I began. So I know the paint's a little bit drier here.
Yeah, me too. And I started from the bottom and worked my way up.
And the name of the game here is this is going to be a gradual buildup because we're going to do Dead Flesh today. I don't think we're going to have a chance to get to the elf. I keep wanting to say elfic flesh, because there is an elfic flesh, but this is not elfic flesh. It's elf skin tone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think probably for safety's sake, just sticking with doing this and then being done, because we do have formation save coming up after us, which, because Sean is back from a well-earned break, I'm going to be modding for that show. Yes. So not only do we need to get off in enough time for Sean to get ready and get on air, but I got to clean up and go do a modding.
Yep.
So
you got to do.
So that's just what's going on there. That's for full transparency's sake.
No, sir. We cannot do cuddles. Hemmy. Sir. No. It's not cuddle time.
But mother, I require cuddles.
Mother, I require affection. But basically what this is starting to do, this is, like I said, we're going to give this sort of a sallow skin tone look to it. And this is getting that sallow undertone established for us that we start doing the glazes. Sir.
Also, I like Mick Tribble volunteers to cuddle the cat while you paint.
Hey, he's such a cuddle bug. I'm sure he'd be thrilled.
Yeah.
I know he wants, but no. He's leaning against me and purring to guilt trip me.
Is it working?
No, it's annoying me. Annoying's not the right word. It's frustrating because it's like, okay, I know you're cute. No. Hems. Remember how I said
Mother, I'm trying to protect you from the Cyclops. Oh, yeah.
I'm glad I moved the keyboard. That would have been some interesting things happening with where he just plunked himself.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Meow goes the good sir. Meow, meow, meow. As soon as I get this leg done, I'll do a side by side so people can see the effect you're aiming for here.
Yeah,
it's shifting from a little less Incredible Hulk to Homer Simpson if he worked out. I guess.
Okay. All right. I'm here for it. Sure. All right.
Come on, focus. There we go. So you can see how the skin's now getting more of that yellowish tone to it as opposed to the green.
Okay.
But in the recesses, you can see that green is helping create more of a shadow now for the skin. Yeah, I'm good with that leg. I'm going to move the other leg.
Okay.
This is also why I said we don't have to worry about being precious about the other details, because with this dry brushing, it's going to be tricky not to hiccup over other things.
Yeah. Oh, those muscles.
Muscle.
Yeah. Oh, those muscles.
He work out.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive. It's a lot of work, literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm. How would a Cyclops work out? Lofting boulders and stuff, I guess?
Maybe. I can see that. I mean, considering what we were talking about with this one, it could be joining a band, joining a heavy metal band and just, you know, putting on shows.
He's the roadie.
Oh, yeah. He's the want to be rock star, starting off as a roadie.
Yep.
I like it.
I like how we get backstories going for these creatures as we paint them. How did we get here?
Well, we often do the same thing on sketching hour. It's coming up with where did these creatures come from?
It's kind of the nature of the game, though, you know?
Yeah. The challenge is not having a wizard did it.
Right.
Coming up with a different reason why these creatures were created.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Wizards can only really do so much. Good and bad.
Fair. My gosh, this is like rotating all the angles so you don't miss a spot.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Cypher of Tear. Welcome.
Hey,
a Bard Lock hit the resub button. Yeah.
Oh, sure. There we go.
And is a bit of a challenge to do just enough overpainting without it being too much.
Yeah. Well, and we will be doing dry brushing with the elf skin tone, not the elfic flesh. My brain does not want to let go of that name.
It's understandable. Did I get everywhere on you? Yeah, mine's coming along. We're getting there.
We're getting there. We're getting there, folks. I need more of the freaking dead flesh. Well, not in real life, but in paint colors.
There should just be a disclaimer about some of the paint colors that we have. That, you know, we need a new command in chat that is just a disclaimer. We're going to be saying words that mean paint colors, not what you think we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think it just comes with the territory. But every once in a while, it's good to have a reminder of like, no, that's no, not that kind of dead flesh. Especially for people who come in at an odd time.
Oh God, right? This guy's going to start looking really interesting when we do the vein work.
Yeah, you said in blue we're doing the vein work?
Yeah, we're going to use Displacer Beast Blue.
Oh, I love that color.
Yeah, I'm going to use that for the vein details. So that's actually going to come after we do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll dry brush with the elf skin tone, because that'll sort of mute the blue down. And then we'll do the glazing with a very thinned out elf skin tone. And that will just sort of make the veins look like they're living under the skin, essentially.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just happy anytime I get to use Displacer Beast, because that's
It's
just such a cool color.
Yeah, it's a fun one. That and Black Pudding. I'm a fan of the two of them.
I want to do an entire mini that's just Displacer Beast and Black Pudding.
Well, they kind of did that with the Black Dragon. They did have some featuring in that one.
That's true. We took advantage of Black Pudding to an extent that made me very, very happy.
Yes. Excellent.
Well, this hammer is just gonna have some.
That's okay.
Some of this on it. That's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is.
Some hammers will never change, but we will change it. It'll be fine. I didn't realize how many.
It's kind of like a.
So you talked about the. Oh yeah. You talked about the eyebrows.
There's one,
but there's also quite the eyebrow. There's also quite an impressive number of wrinkles in the forehead that I just now noticed.
Furrowed brow, definition of embodied. Oh my goodness. I see what you're doing, buddy. I see it. He's giving me the big, sad Puss in Boots eyes.
Thank you, McTribble. He says, or they say, just gloss over the paint names.
But
you are a constant font of puns, and I cannot help but be impressed, even as I groan.
I almost feel like we need to get McTribbles to write some jokes for us for our morning stand-ups.
Maybe. But I will say one of the impressive things about McTribble is that they are always
in situ.
They're very situational. So that's that is half the joy of it.
It is, yeah.
There's still a couple more places I gotta get, but
yeah,
there we go. We're almost there.
We're getting there. About 5 minutes. We'll need to wrap up.
Yeah, just enough time to get this done.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah.
So Plum Bob is talking about I recently saw for the first time the video of the Jack Black Tenacious D song Kickapoo, starring Meatloaf and Dio. Ironically enough, I also recently had a reason to watch that video. I had seen it before, but it had been a while. Yeah. It'd been long enough that I'd forgotten that Meatloaf and Dio are in the video. And so when they show up, it's like, oh yeah. But yeah, for the finale of Children of Erte, Adam put together a video. There was basically a each character getting a little bit of a send-off, as it were. And the one for Neb was from Tenacious D, was Kickapoo. And so when he sent me because he had rewritten the lyrics to be Children Verte related. So I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that music video in a while. Let me go watch it again. And it was just, and then it was a trip down memory lane of like, oh yeah, Meatloaf.
Right. Oh, funny.
Also, the other thing I'd forgotten, the kid that's playing young Jack Black, young Jack Black in that video, he is spot on Jack Black as a child.
Funny.
Like, just wait, did they just de-age Jack Black and put him in the video?
Wow.
It was amazing.
That's fun. Okay. I think I am getting there.
Yep, I'm at the look for spots I missed part of this, which is mostly just around like the waist and places I was trying to be a little more careful and then gave up.
There we go. So this gives you an idea of what the skin tone looks like now.
Yeah.
If the camera reformed. There we go. So this is good. This actually gives us a chance to dry.
Go.
And what we'll do is next week we'll go in, we'll do the blue veining, and then we'll do some dry brushing with Elf skin tone. And then we'll do a little bit of detail work around the eyeball and the mouth. And then we'll glaze with Elf, thinned out Elf skin tone over the skin to start building up the more, fair skin look to the Cyclops. But again, have that sallow undertone to it, which will be a neat way to kind of play this off. So that can dry. And with these gas spores, if you want to clean up that flight post, you just go in again with that rubbing alcohol on a brush, and you just take that, apply it to the flight post, and you can remove that paint and then just blot it off on a paper towel next to you. And then finish this off with a Mod Podge matte seal. But make sure for the eye itself, you put the gloss onto the eye to make it, bright and shimmery as one would for an eyeball.
But not slimy.
But not slimy. We're not making it slimy. The gas spore is not slimy. The eyeball is moisturized. How?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
It got
that makes sense.
Sustain. It got its dose of sustain this morning.
Exactly.
But don't forget, we do have a lot of stuff happening in the game right now. Announced earlier today, we have Jack the Pumpkin Sprout. This is our 2024 Take This charity familiar, as created by the lovely Mark Meir. That will be launching in-game on May 6th at 12 p.m. Pacific. So the first week of net proceeds will be donated to Take This, so make sure you're taking advantage of that. Get a cute little fella to help you out in game, and you can help out Take This at the same time. So keep that in mind for Monday.
That little waddle.
I love the waddle.
It's such a good waddle.
And it is also the weekend. So if you've signed up for our newsletter, that means you'll be getting the We'll Be Right Back weekend newsletter.
After these messages,
we'll be right back. Bing! Gotta remember the bing. And in that newsletter, you'll be getting a free gold commercial chest. Yes, with the old school TV on there. And if you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, make sure you do. You just log into the game, you opt in to get our newsletter, and you'll get a newsletter giving you Hitch, an unlock for Hitch. And when we send out these newsletters every Friday, again, we give you a lovely free thing and help enhance your champions as featured every weekend. And then every so often we'll reach out to you and let you know something's going on in game. But again, we give you something free to work with when we do that, and we do not abuse that, I promise you. And then also, just happening this past Wednesday, the Great Modron March has started. So if you haven't checked that out yet, do be sure you log in and start playing so that you can get Diana, our new champion from the 80s cartoon. Now that we'll be right back, we can make sense, huh? And you can also check out what we have done with Gromma to give Gromma a nice little, refresh little update there. And lots of fun things going on with both of those champions. So make sure this weekend you take advantage of that. And thank you to everyone who's been hanging out with us in the chat. Very much appreciate it. Lauren, thank you for playing moderator today and pulling questions as we need them.
Happy to help.
And we're going to call it right here, right now, so that Lauren can get ready to mod Formation Save, which is coming up right after this. So we will be right back in about 15 minutes. All right. So thanks, everyone, for hanging out with us. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.